plus additionals from what the original budget was. And we've got to get scheduling issues handled because the budget is killed every year when David has someone leave and we have to pay him out comp, vacation, and holiday.
But can't you cap
The
it?
one, I agree
We can
with
cap
you,
it,
I mean,
but
that-
it's-
you have to have a policy to cap it.
with
But it's
the-
not capped right now, is what you're saying?
They have a rule, but because they've always been short-staffed, they have never been able to schedule off.
It's
I don't
like
even know
90
what
days
the,
after you accrue that comp time.
I don't
you're
remember
supposed
what
to
the
take it.
number of hours is that the level is capped at, but there is something in the policy for that specific to law enforcement as well as general employees.
So you can cap you can say if they don't use the time by a certain date, they lose a certain amount, or if they leave, you're only gonna pay them up to this much comp
No,
time.
whatever they earn, they get paid.
No, but I'm saying,
Whatever's on
can
the
you make a
books.
policy that
You
says
could
you
make a
cap it?
policy, yes.
That's what I was asking.
Yes, but again,
Carol, I missed your whole question.
But how can you set a policy if it's beyond their control on what they have to work? I've seen timesheets where these gentlemen have worked 11 hours straight because there's been accidents or there's been something going on. They can't just cut off their comp time because, oh, you know, the county's not gonna pay me this extra hour, so I'm gonna go out here and I'm just gonna leave my job. You can't do that. They can't
control
control.
their
Like I
comp.
said.
You can't control comp time in law enforcement.
But also on that deal, when you can control when the deputy can work. If he works them 11 hours straight through, or like I had one other day, work 20-some hours on a sexual assault case, work 20-some hours, you can let them take off the next day. You can
And
control
If you
them.
have,
That's
this- if it's,
administrative.
right.
Yeah, if I have people
if
to
you have
cover
people to cover
with,
it.
which
If you
right now,
don't,
I do. Right now, I'm full staff again, but here we go. This has been tested by fire already in 2005. I had a man that was here, and he was trying to go back and do the 8.5 or whatever, 5.5 hours, 11. Mary Ann Sines was also on this, because when he left me, he wanted to be paid for them 11 hours. So in 2005, I believe it's May, and we was all on the third floor, me, LaWanna, Judge Kendall, Mary Ann Sines, and who else? There was one other lady that was there.
I think Nancy was there. the
Nancy.
treasurer.
Was it?
No, it was, no, not, it was Nancy Dutton, but we was there, this was they said, no, you do not get paid for the 11 hours. So Ainsworth got his money, claiming that he, his comp time, he got it paid for that, and he took them 11 hours, he's trying to go back to the 160. It's a FSLA, that's why I remember 1992, I remember all of this.
Right.
For that simple reason, 'cause I've been tested already on this, because they're gonna take me to federal court. And that's
But-
where we was at, we nipped it in the bud there, and this is something that came up again 7 years later, and we've been doing this for 7 years. And it's brought up, which is, I'm all for taking care of my people. I'm glad it's got here.
God bless you. I'm sorry.
Bless you.
I'm glad it got here, because if we do need to make a policy, which is fantastic, I know we've been running off this one for 7 years, and they've been running off of this one since 1992,
20 years, Sheriff.
20 years.
2020.
Okay, but I know, when I took over, it's been 7 years. So we've been running on this forever, and I talked to 4 guys yesterday on the phone, and I asked them when we paid them out. I said, was you happy with your payout? Did you see anything that you wished to come back on me about? And all of them said, you was fair, we worked under FSLA laws, and we're there.
Right, and that's how we pay them. We pay them under that FSLA, and that's
Yeah,
how. The county policy says the county shall retain the right to schedule time off with the employee at the end of each quarter. Time to be taken within 30 days and within 60 days for the sheriff's office, providing the office does not suffer undue hardship and is handled in accordance with the requirements of FSLA.
Undue
And that's
hardship.
for unused comp time.
That's a hardship, and I've been under hardship ever since I've been here.
Well,
We're taking care of that now.
I appreciate it.
it looks to me like the policy as it stands just encourages a deputy to pad or fudge on his hours to get those 5 hours.
No,
No?
no.
No, I've got credible, reliable people. No, they ain't gonna fudge that. The comp time is no big deal. Because, and you look at it, Carl, these deputies are unique. I got one right here that works 4 days a week. I've got another one that works 15 days a month. I've got another one every other month that I think works 15 or 16 days, right? So it's kind of hard to get there unless you get into an accident situation or, some kind of where I have to pull people out to do things, I have to call them in because they're off duty to come in and help me in a serious situation, which I never, unless it is a bad situation, like the standoff in Rungy that on Christmas Day a year and a half ago. That was a bad situation where I pulled in, you know, all my people and 40 some odd or 50 some odd other agencies' people. So that's a bad situation. That's a comp thing there. So this is what I'm saying. These people here, they're very well, here we go again, compensated because they work, they are unique, just like firefighters. This is the same thing that firefighters
And
use.
same role.
So this, like I said, it's been around since 1992.
I-
If there's something there, Carl, I mean, like I said, I've been working off FSLA, and like I said, I've been tested by fire already, because they're trying to take me to federal court in 2005, unbeknownst to
Well,
me.
I don't think it came up till Jim was, he went out and he asked Vi about it, and he came in and asked me about it, because he was saying what the state had done.
Well, we-
And I mean, you know, the state doesn't necessarily always follow, you know, all the federal laws or whatever, so he was looking for, I think Jim went and talked to everybody.
We just wanted the 5 hours. If we worked 85 hours, we got comp for the 5 hours that we worked. We didn't ask for pay. Time and a half, we didn't want zero.
Well, you should get paid. Well, I just don't know of any business or anybody that gives their employer 5.5 hours.
But
But
when
the
you
law
choose
tells
law
you.
enforcement, you have special
I
rules.
understand
We
that,
are
but-
abiding by the federal laws.
Let me just run something by you. If a deputy works 42 hours, at the end of his shift, he gets shot and killed, do we have to pay him the $40,000 in insurance money? Because
Yes.
technically he wasn't on duty because he wasn't getting paid. If you're not getting paid, then
Luana, can I ask you a question? You said that this is different just for county. because
No, I
state-
didn't say it's for county, I said for
Well, the
law
state- I'm just
enforcement.
saying for state, and I gotta use that, then I'll ask her, but she knows about this. They give you comp time up to 171 hours, then it's time and a half. But if you work 85 hours, you get 5 hours comp time. Here, you get nothing.
It's up to the county's discretion
If
if
the
what they want
county
to do.
wants to
Department by department.
supersede, but they
Right.
have to go by the minimums required by the
Right.
federal government, which we do.
So we're at minimum right now.
We do.
minimum.
Yeah, we're at the
If
minimum
the
at the 85 and a
county
half.
elects to go to pay hour for hour from 80 to 85 and a half, they can do that if the head, the sheriff in this case,
Wish to write a policy on that.
writes the policy and presents it to the court for acknowledgement. But it has to be through policy, not through the court, because the law enforcement has a separate policy
We
from the
can include it
county.
on the county
Well,
policy.
to
But
me,
it
it
has to
just
be
doesn't,
included in it.
it does not pass a smell test. If a guy's having to work 5.5 hours a week for free, he's gonna sit at the coffee shop, or he's gonna go park under a tree, he's gonna do something.
No, he's not.
No, it's not.
All he has to work, Carl, is 80 hours, just like
Yeah.
the rest of us.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, hello.
He's
Well,
thinking
but I
to get
mean,
it.
you know,
Yeah.
But all these
if
required
he's on a
workers
traffic
pay.
call and he says, well, man, it's, you know, he can't leave.
Yeah,
But
He
that's
has-
specific, they all know that because that's specific to the federal laws for law enforcement. Each entity can adopt something different if the sheriff
That's
or
right.
the chief of police or the
So
director
the
of
sheriff doesn't
DPS
wanna
or
adopt,
whatever.
I mean,
takes
I'm
it.
game for anything. Like I said, I thought this man here was go with this lady here, and we can kind of work something out. I didn't know we was gonna bring it out here until I looked at the deal Monday when I was looking for, at the jail committee. I didn't know this was on the agenda.
It doesn't
Sorry.
sound like it's fair to me.
I didn't seem like it's fair to me, because this is a policy
I got
issue.
several different answers, and I wanted to go to human resources because I even went to the county judge. I said, these deputies tell me this, and I've seen it myself. Well, I might work 83 hours. Well, I only claim 80, don't claim the 83, because I'm not gonna get credit for it anyway.
Can I ask you, Sheriff, how do these deputies
That's
keep
actually
their hours?
classification,
Do
though.
they-
Well, that's the way it is, Judge.
No,
Do they
that's not
punch
the
a
way it is.
clock,
You
or
need-
they-
You still need to tell us what you're working. I mean, if you're gonna sit there and say that, Jim, I have people turning in 80 hours, why would they want pay if that's all they're working is 80 hours? We need to know the truth. See, the truth will set you free.
It's not gonna get, it already is, because I sent in 83, 84 hours, and it got crossed out because I thought it was gonna be coming. I said, no,
Well, I mean, I
put
don't think she
down
crossed it
83,
out, I don't think
84.
she changed it to 80, did she?
Well, if it's crossed out, we don't
It might
get
have
it.
been
So
crossed out,
that's-
but you still
that's-
showed it, so we know
that's
that.
right.
You're leaving a paper trail that you're working that overtime.
Plus,
We
if
need
you
to
look
know
at the
that.
top of your timesheets on the
I
top
wanted to give it to you,
side,
Jim,
it
that's not my
says
issue, but I don't wanna see
85 and a half hours in law
falsification or
enforcement.
documentation.
That's doing more than what you are.
Well, I mean, but I'm willing to give people
Y'all
what
can
they
do what
work.
you want to, I'm just telling you it's not right.
So
I
Jim,
should-
who all did you talk about? Did you go to David first?
Yes, because he's been here 20 years, and he said he's never done
No,
it.
no, no, no,
Jalefka.
Jalefka,
Oh, yes,
the
I know.
sheriff,
Yes.
the Marine.
And I told you the
David.
same thing.
Who's David? Who's the other
David
guy?
Marine.
David
Ray
Marine.
He's the
See,
senior.
Oh, Sergeant Marine. Well,
Four-
I don't call him David.
In 2000, here we go by again, we test the fire, 2005, after we got through with Angel, Dave Marine quit me. We went through the same thing. Simple. I mean, so we was testing, here we go, Mary Ann signs, tack. We went through the same thing again. I mean, they didn't learn from Ainsworth, now we had to go through this deal. And David Marine got paid out on comp time, which he had a slew of comp time, which is, he was a working deputy. And just like Ainsworth was a working deputy. Everybody worked, so I mean, we don't have, never had no overtime. And we can nip a lot of this in the bud. If y'all wish to get away from this comp time and pay the people overtime.
There's no way to
Nobody's
promote
asked for
that.
that.
So,
What I'm saying, I got 3 different answers. That's why I came to you and Vi.
Right, but.
Very simple.
But
Y'all
what
don't
I'm
wanna do it,
saying-
tell me now, and I won't bring it up again.
That's not what I'm saying, Jim. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what was said. What was said is we need to figure out how. I mean, going to everybody and collecting a different answer, that's not gonna help.
That's
We
why
all need to
we're
be on the
here.
same page, Jim.
That's why we're here right now
But
for
the
you.
sheriff should have, I agree that you should have got together with him and y'all should have. wrote some
I
kind of
talked to the
policy.
sheriff.
but we was
Twice.
looking at the policy, we're trying to get to the policy, and then there was that deal, 171 hours. That was the policy, and we've always gone under this policy.
And if you
No,
want to
because-
amend your policy, you can.
I can amend it.
You don't have to raise your hand. You're a commissioner. You're free.
Sheriff, I just want to ask the sheriff, how do these deputies keep track of their hours? They have little time.
They have time sheets like everybody else
And
does.
just like-
And they
This
keep
right
their
here.
own hours, right?
No, they have schedules.
Go ahead, Steve.
They have schedules.
See, this there, Jimmy worked 90 hours. And on this 90-hour sheet, all right, this is what I'm trying to get at. This is the 90 hours. He put in 90 hours that week of 2/12/12 to 2/25/12. I'm using you, Jimmy, because this is where we're at.
That's the per pay period.
All right. Over here, we have a deal which has been like this forever. Over here, it shows 90 hours, so he's gonna get anything over 5.5 hours, because this is 2-week period. We work on 48, 14, and 28 days. That's what it works. We're working on 14 days, you gotta work 85 and a half hours. So on this one, it shows 90 hours, shows him getting 5 hours, making it 7.5 hours comp time, right?
But really, it would have.
For working 10 hours over,
Working 10 hours
getting only
over.
7.5 hours.
But here was a mistake, which I just caught when I was looking at it a while ago. He should have got 4.5 hours.
Well, my point being, they're not.
That's what my point is. I mean, he just lost an hour of
No,
time.
we add it and then Luana double adds it, so
Okay.
we catch it.
Good, but that's kind of where I'm at right now.
It
This
goes
is what
from
I'm working.
cell
Well, and
to,
if, David, show Carl at the top there on the right where it says law enforcement is at 85 and a half.
Right here, comp rate is earned at a rate of 1.5 hours for each hour worked over a minimum of 85.5.
because that Fair Standard Labor Act tells us that's how we.
That's isn't that the minimum guideline to
the
follow,
minimum
but each
guideline.
And I'm
department?
gonna tell you,
Okay.
it's fair to give the 5 hours
I
comp time.
agree.
It is.
Whether
I
Giff
think-
Ann disagrees or not, you know, that's just.
Just hour,
And
you're
if
just
they work-
asking for hour for the first 5 and a half,
We're
not time
asking
and a half.
money.
Well, I think the sheriff is trying to hire 6 new deputies, right? Well, if you show them, okay, now, let me tell you something, you're gonna have to work 5.5 hours for free before you.
But they already know that in
They
law
know that.
enforcement,
They know
but
that, Carl.
as a.
I mean, it's like that
as a-
everywhere.
But
Yes, it
Ben, I'm glad this is brought up, because like I said, it's kind of.
Every county, 254.
And I want to tell y'all.
That's not right
Yes.
either.
If-
That 5 hours, that's not right, because, let's ask Carol, if Russell works 9 hours, what does he get
He
after
gets
8 hours?
8 hours straight pay, an hour would be considered comp, so he'd get an hour and a half of
Time and a half after that?
Right.
No, not every law enforcement,
Right, it's-
just
it's-
this county right here. The highway patrol, if you work those 5 hours, you get 5 hours comp time.
But there's
Now,
also
if
a
you
cap.
go over
And
one-
we get a
I
dog.
think the point that you're trying to bring out, or the point that the sheriff is trying to bring out, is we don't have to be minimum.
Right.
You don't have to
We
be.
need to be fair, we
We
don't
need to
have
be
to.
fair.
We
We don't
need
have
to
to be
be
minimum,
fair.
but what we're talking about now is we followed minimum standards for the last
Right.
20 years. The last 20 years, we followed minimum
Right.
standards. So 20 years later, they're asking us to
I'm
come
not
to the
gonna argue with that,
1990s. So, I'm okay,
I'm great with it too.
well,
Okay,
and it would make
but-
your life easier.
It'll make my
He
life-
has to write the policy and bring it for acknowledgement. The court doesn't have action over that.
Why can't we
It's a
just add
sheriff's
it
policy.
into our policy that already includes comp time for sheriff's department?
What number are we on? Where'd we go? Sorry.
Well,
Thank you.
Look on page 402 of the policy manual, pay periods and timesheets.
But your agenda item doesn't say anything about amending policies.
Well, I'm trying to make a point that we can add it to our policy.
But then you gotta bring it up.
I will, Bob, I
That
will,
means
I know
time
that.
off. If you want to take it, you can take it. When there's a time, they can take it. We're not asking for nothing free, we're asking what we've done.
Okay.
Item 2, can I talk, please? On application number 2, compensation for law enforcement employees shall be handled in accordance with the policies established in the sheriff's department with the approval of the commissioner's court. So he can add it to his policy, or we can put it into our policy on comp time. I don't really care which way it goes.
It's gotta be his policy.
Okay, then I need a copy of that policy in my office too, once that's done. And Mary Ann will gladly come down and help with us. There was something too, she also said
What number, Vi?
Oh.
What are you on?
on the Karnes County policy on pay periods and timesheets.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on Mary Ann's.
I'm not on a purple couple, sorry. It's our policy. I handed it to you earlier.
Okay.
It's page 4.02, page 1 of 1,
Uh-huh,
under application,
uh-huh.
policy on comp time, number 2. So we just need a copy of his policy in my office, so we know that that's what he's agreed to do with them.
Now, if I may speak from a money standpoint, David, you've got to administer this comp time. It kills your budget every year. We talk about it every year. When
Right.
somebody leaves and we have to pay them out, you almost lose a full deputy's salary.
Right.
So we've got to
We've been
keep
doing this
this
forever.
comp time, well, I know, but now you've got added staff, so now there's no reason
Sheriff,
why we
like to
can't
say,
use
you
it.
don't take it within a year and lose it.
If
I've
he-
never had
That would
that
have to be a policy amendment also.
Well, I'm
I'm
just
not
saying,
saying I like county
and I refer
government
to state, but
always,
that's where I
but
come
you
from,
have
the
to
state.
amend it.
Right.
And I'm saying, like it said, you know, that way, what Luana says, the budget's not being killed, you know.
You have to amend the policy to say so, we can't just say it.
Well, that's what I'm
Well, the
saying.
policy tells you that you're supposed to take 60 days off with the sheriff's department if it does not
Yes, we
suffer
do.
undue hardship.
And we've been under hardship ever since I've been here short.
And also, on page 4.04, Barbara, on the normal work hours, except the sheriff's department says 24/7, Mary Ann said we need to tweak that a little bit too. So we may need to get her to come back down and talk to David and I, and anyone else, and kind of work on the sheriff's department policy to make sure.
And can I put on this as of which day forward?
You know what, things that you're on policy, you can put anything you want on there and bring it
Well,
back.
as soon as the policy's adopted, then you can do it. As soon as the change in the policy is adopted,
And
then
I,
you can do it.
since I've worked with Mary Ann, I know LaWanda's worked with Mary Ann, I know Bob has worked with Mary, we've all worked with Mary Ann. I'd like for her to maybe use her expertise in writing this, so we won't have to come back and do this again.
Yeah, she'll help.
So,
Signs,
now,
back.
now you're gonna ask, Jim's staring there, staring at me, he's gonna ask, what day would it be effective? Is that what you're asking?
No,
Could it
I'm
be?
sure not. Whenever
Could it
the
become
policy,
effective?
no, you don't wanna do that retro stuff,
No.
because you're gonna get in a lot of trouble in budget and things, in case somebody wanted to come back.
You know what, I'd really
But
have to.
start
name
March
her.
1st or whatever, you know.
We'd have to go back and redo all that in my
Why
department,
don't
no.
we see if it was straight for straight? We're not
That's-
talking time, I mean, like,
that's
if you
what
work
we're
85 hours, you're asking for 5
So
hours.
for the 5 hours,
5
that's
hours.
all we're
You're
asking
agreeable
for.
to that. I mean,
Straight
you're the one that
time.
writes the policy,
I don't
so
like
you're
the
agreeable
policy.
to that.
5 hours straight time.
And so you're asking if you bring that policy before us, are we gonna be nice and be agreeable to that? So I think that's what we're,
You
you
can't
know.
agree to that, Judge, it takes all 5 of you.
No, that's not what I'm saying, sir. I'm just saying that he's looking, he's asking first. I mean, he's being.
I'm trying to put the horse before the cart.
I'm
Okay,
just
we
trying
got
to
you.
cool fires.
You get your policy, bring your policy back. I mean, I don't think any of us were fighting you on time for time. Were you, is that what we were saying? Time for time. We're not saying time and a half. We're not saying paying overtime.
Right.
You know, kind of like that sexually oriented policy thing at all. I was scared for a second. So,
And two, if he says, well, you know, if you work 85.5 hours and I'm trying to hire this new deputy, we're actually gonna give you 5 hours. You're not gonna be giving me 3 hours. You're gonna actually get, that might entice some other deputies to come here. You're earned those
You're earning
hours.
those hours, not giving that.
Yeah.
Policy should-
Okay, so this is gonna be a no action until we rewrite his policy to include this, and we'll get Mary Ann
and then
in there and
you'll
we'll
do the
bring it
county
back.
part. Do the county part at the same time, so we can do one, then the other.
Well, if we're gonna go by his policy, then I don't need to change my policy. I'm looking at you,
I don't
right?
think your policy applies.
You
Well-
just need to take out that part for the sheriff's department
Right.
in the county policy, because we go by the sheriff's policy.
Okay,
That's
so
what he's
really,
saying I'm doing.
no action on number 12, and the sheriff
The
is
other
gonna
thing too,
bring
you
us
need
up.
to put something in there so to protect the budget, that they have a certain amount, a fair amount of time to take their comp time.
Well, it
so
does
you
say
don't
that
have to-
already.
Or
I know it does,
a
but we
cap
need to-
on the hours that they can carry.
Okay,
Reasons
so
like Jim
you'll
said.
write that, Sheriff, and you come back, right?
Okay.
And
You
want
call
it-
Mary Ann.
and you want
Based on
the-
compensation.
when
Sheriff's
they get
Department.
added,
Time for time.
yeah, with the sheriff, but then at the end of the
No, I
year,
didn't know that.
Go
at the end of
ahead.
the year, they lose it and we start over again. That's what.
Or they lose it to a certain amount, I think, yeah.
That's right.
We'll give them a year from the date earned.
That way in case some
Yeah.
catastrophe comes up, you know,
A
the
year
sheriff
from the
can
date
ask, say,
earned.
all right, give, because we were
You can
tied up
carry
here.
it, yeah, from January to
We'll let you
January,
take
February
it
to
this month or
February.
something, because we were
Give
tied
them
up.
a 3-month window.
Catastrophe, hopefully it doesn't happen.
Okay, why don't we get all that stuff in there and then we get out? Okay. Are we all on the same page?
Yes,
Okay, number 20.
thank you.
Discuss,
Thank you,
Hey,
Commissioner.
Sam,
okay,
put it on their next budget, next.
You want on the next agenda?
no, not you, Mike.
Oh.
Well, I
no.
have it.
We're
Well, the
number
reason is
20.
I don't have that information here, but it's just 10 days till the next. Well, I have it, but
Didn't I bring you the,
it's not in the packet either.
no, I thought I folded yours in there. Did I
No,
not?
no, there's, I have two.
Oh, you have two, that's not the right one,
That's
okay.
one.
All right,
I did not,
you,
it's not in the packet.
you put
The
this
second
back,
one is.
Bob, back on agenda. Number 20, no action, Carol.
He said we got too many things today. Thank you.
Okay. Number 21,
21, I have that in, this is a piece of land,
it's in your package.
it's in your package, it's a surface only, so there's no members, anything like that. This was given to the county with the county commission by Mr. and Mrs. Olenek. And that's been here for, the deed was drawn September the 26th, 1983, so it's been here that long. And it's not taxed, this is land given to the county. And we have a request for, somebody wants to buy it. But in order to sell it to this, these persons, we have to put it out, we have to bid it out.
Okay. So I make the motion, we advertise the bid for the tract of land conveyed to the county by Frank Olenek and wife Dorothy as recorded volume 538, page 966 of official records of Karnes County, author Bob Buckman. Are we gonna let Luana advertise?
No,
Are we
because
asking?
Luana doesn't have all the information.
A second.
Well, are you gonna advertise, Bob? Who's gonna
Nah, go
advertise?
ahead, man, I got it.
I'll get you the information.
All in favor?
Will you wait, Luana, will you advertise with information?
If I get the information.
He has to
Okay,
give it
and
proper-
allow
you get it
Luana to advertise after she receives the information.
Just see if you can get, I get it to you.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Who got the second on that?
I put Carl down. I heard you first, Tracy.
Good.
Gotta hear ya.
I was gonna give it to him.
Put it to Carl.
Okay,
We will get it. I'll get it.
number 23 is discuss, approve, disapprove amendment P 00004, the ICE agreement, which adds language for government-owned vehicles, and the author is Diane Kaplan. This is a thing that they're sending all their GO people, and it always says, as we discussed and you approve, and then it says, if you approve, will you please sign it on top, because we always tell them it has to go through court. All it is they're asking, they're incorporating, wait, I don't have the vehicle one. It's this one, it's a little thicker. It's a contract asking about the government-owned vehicles, and it's just transportation rules and articles and on and on and on. And it's the same one that all the other GO locations have signed. So, that's all it is. It's language for the use of listed, use of government-owned vehicles with GO. We have to agree to it, or disagree, whatever you wanna do. You wanna let GO use the government-owned vehicles or not? Is that a motion? GO's contracts were this thick.
What
every
would they
time-
be using, what government's vehicles, ours?
The ICE, when they're
So
bringing in
that's to
federal government.
transport them in and out.
Because that's a federal unit, isn't it?
Yes.
You know what, see, all that goes through us, all of GO's contracts go through the county. And so we have to approve everything that they approve,
Well,
whether we
that's
want.
because we have the contract with ICE, not GEO.
Why wouldn't we,
Because we have the right to keep it in custody.
So why wouldn't we, that's my question too, Carl, but I don't wanna make a motion on everything I'm signing myself, so I'm just gonna let you and Tracy battle it out.
I make a motion
Make a
to
motion.
approve amendment P 00004 to the ICE agreement, which adds language for government-owned vehicles.
I second the motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0, no opposition. Number 24 is another GEO issue. And this one says, discuss approve, disapprove installing the following amendments on behalf of the county. P00002, incorporating contract-specific wage determined 2011-0191, revision to be effective 11/22/11. And P00003 is incorporating the county's request for equitable adjustment resulting from the incorporation of contract-specific wage determination, as well as adding rates for escort and guard services and overtime for each when they were previously included as $0 in the contract. Kind of sounds like a sheriff's. Additionally, the county will agree for the next 90 days through May 20th, 2012. The county will further grant authority for Amber Martin to sign on behalf of Karnes County. And this says through May 2012. I actually think that we had it till, we have it through March something. And this new guy that they have in there, he likes to do the every 90 day, 30 days out versus waiting for the exact contract date. And that's all they're doing. This is the exact same one we signed last time.
Motion to approve? I make the motion to approve signing the following.
I second the motion.
All right.
No, I don't. Yeah, I do. I don't want to keep seconding my own, but I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Do it.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0, no opposition.
On your on number 26, let me just make a comment. In order to, the county has the right to pass ordinances controlling traffic outside the city limits. But each penal ordinance, one that you break it, you pay a fine, that's a penal ordinance. We have to advertise it. So my suggestion, we're working on one now for the parking lot out here, the parking lot out here on Park City. And we talked about running, you and I could get together and figure out if there's anything else we want to do. We do this all at one time. Because it's going to have to be on every penal ordinance, we got to advertise it.
But wait a second, before we do that. Okay, you're saying for number 26, that's if we put out a sign. Let's read the agenda item first, so everybody knows what we're talking about.
Okay.
Let's go there. Discuss, approve, disapprove installing children at play 25-mile-per-hour speed limit signs and placing some sort of speed deterrent devices on County Road 340 to ensure the safety of my children. And that's Arthur's Carl Hummel and Janet Garza. And
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea too, but I can tell you, since we put that agenda item out, I had like 500 people that want that exact same sign on their county roads.
Well, you know, I've been, and I don't need to mention what county road, but I
It's
was headed
340.
north and these vehicles coming south, they was doing no less than 60 miles an hour. And at that time, there was so much dust, I had to pull over because I couldn't see where I was
Well,
going.
when I was talking to Jeff yesterday, there was
And I mean,
cars
this is
stopped doing
ridiculous.
60 on a
I
county
mean,
road,
It'd be a
so.
lot simpler if you could do it all at one time. I think it'll save us some advertising costs too. You could just do it once instead of.
I agree, as long as we do something,
It needs
because
to be done.
I agree.
It needs to be done. But number one is, if we put up all of these signs,
Who's gonna enforce it?
we gotta have somebody out
But
there.
let me ask you this
Give some
too.
tickets, 'cause if
Let me
not-
tell you what they're doing.
That's what we had
Hold on.
universities for.
Let me tell you what they're doing in Gonzales County also. Well, what about the constables? There's, the
Exactly.
constables
They need
cannot,
to be doing something too.
they're on county roads.
The
They have
constables,
precincts.
we have one constable that is doing patrol work, is he
Yes.
not? And I don't know why, you asked that just a few minutes ago, and I have no idea as to why they couldn't do that, because they're licensed peace officers. Now, I know they have special duties to do the work for the JP that they work for, basically, but they don't have that much. I mean, they serve
We just gave them
papers.
500 travel.
I know, but what I'm getting at is, there's no reason why, I don't think you can make them do it, but I think that you can certainly ask them to do
But
it.
they're elected officials just like we are.
Exactly.
I mean, in the other counties, when we've been talking about some of these same things, the constables are out writing tickets.
Well, so we have one here that does that too, or he was, I guess he does.
I mean, 'cause we can't be on every county road. I see the concern because I live on a county road myself on that one side, and people think that that is part of the NASCAR thing. They start turning right there.
let me ask the sheriff a question. The state puts out these little digital signs and it says your speed, you know, and they're trying to get you to slow down and it'll say, you know, 50, 45. And as you slow down, it records your speed, I guess. But are there any of those kind of things that has actual video on them too?
No.
No, it's
It's
just.
just a warning device out here, like in school zones, or like, I know, only one I've ever seen or been around, the one that do both pads, because every once in a while they get some kind of fast moving traffic or something. I hadn't seen them in a long time, just like in front of Maggie's place, 505. I used to see it down there where the old Gulf Station used to be. They used to put it there because, you know, it's like a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, and people are just zipping through there. So it don't have no capabilities to capture nothing. It just says that you're speeding.
It doesn't have a little chip and it records, you know, the speeds that people drive.
But there's no correlation back to the vehicle, no pictures, anything?
You know,
Because, I mean, if you put it out there, what you want to know is, are people speeding on this road? And if you pull a little chip out and put it in your computer, and it records these high speeds, 60, 70 miles an hour on a county road, then you know you got a problem.
yeah, well,
People are driving that, Carl.
Right.
Oh, I know, but I mean, that will electronically document it, but you'll know you have a
Run your
problem.
bubble here, but they'll have to be calibrated. You know, fine.
But it just, it's one of those things, I mean, we're all having to step up right now. We need all the help we can get. I mean, if you're alive and you're out there, call.
If we
Yeah.
had, I guess where that's going is, if we had one of those little things, I don't know what they cost, but we could kind of move them $5,000.
yeah,
Kind of
well, I need
move
like
around the
6
county.
of them. Did you 6 of them today? I'll take them. No, I'm serious, they're around $5,000.
But they're not certified either.
No, it's just a.
No, but I mean,
warning
it's just a
device.
deterrent.
It's a warning device, and like I said, if you put them out there on the county road, you gotta have somebody monitoring. They have a hard time keeping them on the
It
main.
ended up
road.
missing.
They be coming up.
Next thing you know, just think, Will Castle or something.
But that's what it is. You got them way out here in the country,
You go out,
again.
you go out there and you put up these 25-mile-an-hour signs, and next day you come out there, somebody done run over it.
Exactly.
I guarantee you, every one of my scenes has been run over. It's a waste of money, unless we have somebody do something about it.
Kind of simple.
Can you take
And
down the
like that
license
man
plates and
said,
issue
right
a,
now
call
the
you and
license
give the
plate,
license
that's
plates
what
and you can issue them citation?
Here we
No.
go again.
No, you can't.
No, you can't, because one thing, you're not having nothing calibrated. You're driving in a vehicle, you're chasing a car, you don't have a calibrated vehicle, you're a witness, you do all this, you're gonna wind up in court, the next thing you know, you're gonna be testifying in something, how you do this, and you was also traveling at that rate of speed. So, that's a given. So I had 2 people instead of 1 person traveling at that rate of speed, because you're not deputized, you're not sworn, you're just a concerned citizen, which is good. And I keep saying, everybody need to get out here, get involved. If you see something, call the sheriff's department, write down a license plate number, throwing trash out. Everybody has, this is our county, let's take it back. I keep saying, let's take it back. You look, everything's kind of, everybody kind of left, you know, but here we are again. Let's take care of our county. People, I mean, really, you gotta get involved. And I've got 6, you know, openings, fantastic. I'm trying to find 6 deputies that somebody else that don't want. And it's been a real hard pick. Like I maybe have 1 out of about 7 to 10 applications right now.
I want you to have 3.
Well, I got some emails in the other day from people.
You wanna take no action, wait
So,
till we get everything.
simple.
We'll take no action on number 26 like we did. All right, number 27 is the payment of bills. Sorry, you said something else? Were you saying something else?
So you get everything together, you just
Well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
do it all.
You got the roll copy?
We'll hold you to that, Bob.
Okay. I'm a short time, right?
On a long leash.
I'm a short time, right? I do whatever the hell I want.
That's right.
Just to point out to y'all on page 1, we have issued 36,000 plus to MJ Boyle on courthouse phase 1. We have 2 checks totaling a little over $100,000 to Don Kruger. And that would probably bring us up to about 98% complete on the contract. There still are some contingency items that have to be addressed. Other than that, most other bills in here are in the norm. On page 6, you'll see the $28,000 disbursements to Waukesha Pierce on grant monies where we got the switch exchanges through grant funds through DPS. That's actually paying for them. We have received the funds, so it's an in and out situation.
This is for the annex.
You notice on Road and Bridge on page 7. We had to change into utilizing Road and Bridge special funds for materials and hauling because we have utilized all the budget in Road and Bridge regular. So again, we need to get that information from Jeff so a plan can be figured out so that we can draw on those bond monies that were approved for road materials.
Jeff left, I asked Jeff about that, we need to set up a planning meeting with him or something. I don't know if you and I wanna do it by ourselves, and,
Well, we can't do it until we have that information.
well, you brought me in a sheet, and it's really not what we asked for, but it has a list of county roads, a lot. It's one piece of notebook paper, so I think we need to talk to him and explain specifics. Maybe we need to email him, just you and I figure out the email and then explain to him exactly what he needs to bring in. Because he always says, yes, that's what I'm gonna do, and that's not what I get. So,
Well, if you remember back during budget time, a worksheet was presented on how to classify the roads. And there were guidelines, but then,
I don't think it was ever approved. I kept thinking it kept getting beat down and beat down
Correct.
and beat down. It was too much.
correct,
So, but we need that because it's impossible for us to sit down and write any long-term plan for the county when we're missing the pieces of the puzzle.
that's correct.
I mean, so there we are with that one. But anyway, back to bills. I make a motion to pay bills as presented.
I'll say,
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. The next item on the agenda, no, everybody jump at once, to adjourn.
Judge,
Yeah.
before we do that, I wanna, give y'all a heads up, the jail commission was called the other day by a concerned citizen here in Corns County, said there was some infractions being done. I was contacted by George Johnson, who's our inspector. George Johnson, came in, checked everything, did an audit on my jail, inmates and stuff over the past several years. And he gave us, as of yesterday, no violations had been made.
Thank you, George.
And keep doing business as usual. You're doing a good job.
Thank you, Sheriff.
You're welcome.
We knew you were doing it right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.